We are taken immediately where we left off from the last chapter, with Arthur and Dutch splitting up to go talk to civilians in hope of finding more information about Angelo Bitchface, who Kathy Braithwaite, rest in piss and flames, just gave little Jack to after kidnapping him. Who just receives a 4-year-old from Braithwaite's and is like, oh, this is perfect, thank you so much. Before Arthur even starts this mission, he says hi to random strangers, buys the best weapon in the game, which is only available at the Saint Denis gunsmith, and watches a criminal get gangbanged by one lawman.
Looks like he's worse for wear.
Okay, off you go then.
Arthur asks the stranger about Angelo. The stranger says to go and ask people at the saloon. Arthur takes a ride through Saint Denis and stops at the saloon, where all of a sudden, just as he puts his hands on the doors, is shot by a lawman, which ends the entire game right then and there.
Stick 'em up, cowboy.
So, here we are in a strange land of papists and rapists.
After Dutch has some fine words to say about the people of Saint Denis, Dutch says that this establishment is the best option to finding Angelo, if I said that correctly. And Arthur responds by walking in the saloon like a real cowboy. The bartender is busy talking about dirty French secrets, referring to the state of Lemoyne, so Arthur tries to get his attention.
Please excuse me, I seem to have some very impatient customers.
Dude, you're getting paid for this, you moron. Arthur asks for a whiskey, which is like 10 cents too expensive, but he pays for it anyway. Arthur, when you see the prices in 2024, you are not going to be happy. Arthur pays for the bartender's drink as well.
You ever hear of a fella by the name of Bronte?
Who's asking?
Me. I'm asking.
The bartender immediately gets defensive and tells him to drop it. Arthur takes a shot and dips out. Feeling like, whoa, wait, get off me! The drunk man has some valuable information on him, and then he says that he has no information on him and to talk to kids in the alley outside.
And friend, you'll be careful now. Immigrants, they're not to be trusted.
Okay, so we know who he voted for.
After 24 men find any married person, male or female.
Hi there.
Arthur makes the mistake of going to talk to these bratty fucking kids who are already smoking, trying to be hip. Don't smoke. Vape. No, I'm kidding. Don't do either. Lungs are for air, not smoke. The short kid tells Arthur to pay him $5, which Arthur does in disgust. Then the kid and his buddy Cleet give him a little tour of Saint Denis.
No one knows it as good as me and Cleet.
It's Cleet and I, dumbass.
Hope you won't need his services, but you got the doctor on the corner there. Nice enough, fella.
He won't be needing his services, so move along. He then shows Arthur the church, which he talks about for a while, which conveniently gives Cleet the shithead time to cut Arthur's bag from his arm, running off with it. Now, normally what happens is Arthur chases Cleet into an alley full of other teenagers talking about Bronte. That's not what I did. This is what I did.
Stop! Shit! You little bastard!
I'm a good boy, I was.
Give me my things.
Here,
Bronte?
at home.
Where?
The big house on Flavian Street opposite the park.
We are lucky
Nice
for
round
this
here.
lovely weather.
I'm kind of new to these parts. Of course, you're spoiling the view.
Arthur makes his way over to Dutch, and then starts being rude to an elderly woman.
Your face looks familiar.
Huh.
Reminds me of the last time I lifted my horse's tail.
He tells Dutch that he got robbed by kids, which Dutch finds amusing. But he finds it even more amusing when Arthur says he found Bronte. Okay, Bronte or Angelo? I like Barney. We'll call him Barney for now. Dutch leaves to go get John, ending the mission. Dude, what the fuck was this? I mean, it was a good introduction to the Saint Denis experience, I guess, but I still found it kind of weak. I don't know, I'm leaning toward a C tier.
I cannot decide which I like less. The swamps or the city. Both are full of parasites, reptiles, and slime. We're a long way east to land we know, and far from real open country.
Before we start the next mission, here's some average Saint Denis shit.
This what you want?
Close in, fellas.
Well,
Angelo Bronte, a man of honor. No? Arthur meets Dutch and John near Bronte's house, ready to deal with some more assholes. Arthur says that they can't just start shooting everything up, because it'll put Jack's life at risk. Dutch says to calm his ass down, saying they'll charm him. Dutch charmingly points a revolver at the guard, telling him to be a gentleman and get his gentleman boss down here like a gentleman. More guards come and get them with bigger weapons, and let them in. We finally meet Angelo Bronte, who is even more of an annoying fuckface than you imagined. He's so shocked by the disrespect they're showing him when he disrespected them to a maximum level by kidnapping a 4-year-old.
Why did you take his son?
Dutch says that they have nothing against him, but it'll take one small move to flip that switch and turn this place into a crime scene.
So, you walk into my city, stinking of shit and looking like shit. You ask me to show compassion. Have I not shown you almost infinite compassion already by simply allowing you to breathe in my presence?
Okay, Ellen DeGeneres, shut the fuck up. Dutch agrees with Bronte, trying to get on his good side, then starts defending the gang, saying that all they have is each other, and that Bronte is a dick for taking a child. Bronte confronts him for stealing the liquor from Kathy, which Dutch says that they were innocent of until they weren't innocent.
You twist words, you lie shamelessly, you think you are better than everyone else.
Things are about to go down.
Ti adoro. Vattene a bere sti uomini.
Alright, that was pretty easy. The three sit down with Bronte, asking him if Jack can return to his father, to which Bronte responds with, yeah, of course.
But
what is it?
He says that the grave robbers have been taking tombstones out of the ground and running away with them, which I'm completely lying about. I just don't know what a grave robber. I just don't know what grave robbers are. Okay, I just looked it up, and that's exactly what that means. I'm a genius. Wait, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, Barney wants them to murder weird people.
a couple of people have taken to grave robbing in this cemetery.
Well, that is a fine place for it, the best.
He tells Arthur and John to head off and do the deed. Well,
you tell me more about my manners.
This dude is sexually attracted to Dutch. Arthur and John mount up and ride to the cemetery. Arthur compliments John, saying it was awesome how he handled the situation with Bronte, to which John responds by being negative, saying Bronte's a liar, which isn't just negativity, it's facts.
Listen, we found...
Arthur responds by being positive, saying it could have gone far worse, but John starts being more negative, saying that he hasn't been much of a father figure and he's hoping that Jack as well. Arthur starts theorizing, saying the Braithwaites were going to hold Jack ransom, but now they are just a pile of ashes. Bronte has no reason to keep Jack unless he's cosplaying as Drake. They arrive at the cemetery. Arthur acquires his weapons and strolls on into the graveyard, when there's a fucking dog barking for no reason. Arthur wanders for a bit, only to find a drunk, who's not robbing anything besides his self-respect and soberness.
Damn it, Arthur!
It turns out the drunk who Arthur shot was mourning a friend. Whoops. They hear a noise inside a fine architect and get ready to shoot some gravy robbers.
You boys found my package, what?
There's no one in here. So Arthur and John are confused. Oh shit, they're getting shot at! Why do grave robbers have weapons? They take out the gravy robbers and then go back to the place where they heard the noise from, collecting evidence and proof for Bronte. When all of a sudden, lawmen start searching the place out of nowhere. The back gate is locked, so they have to sneak their way past the law to get out of the cemetery after Arthur kills a rat. Not Micah, an actual rat. They make their way out of the cemetery and ride back to Bronte's.
Well, you took your time.
Dutch, while you were sipping alcohol and probably dick, Arthur and John were... Oh shit, okay, I'll shut up. Jack comes running out, dressed like a maid. Dutch tells the guard to thank Bronte for everything since Bronte's a fat, lazy bitch and started sleeping, and that Bronte invited the gang to an epic rager at the mayor's crib.
Mr. Bronte has invited us to a garden party at the mayor's house. And us, just simple country boys.
On the way back, Jack says something very, very unsettling.
You sure you're okay, son?
I'm fine. Papa Bronte said you'd come for me.
Hell nah. Papa Bronte? Dutch probably said that before, if you know what I mean. John apologizes to Jack, which Jack doesn't understand because he had a fun time at Papa Bronte's house. He had spaghetti! Wow! Jack starts making the gang and me very uncomfortable by talking about his fun time at Papa Bronte's house, which is fucked. Imagine Jack grows up, gets kidnapped, he'll think it's just a fun time like Papa Bronte's house when you wore slippers and ate spaghetti while you're told that his dad will come back for him. Real nice, Bronte. You molded this child into liking being kidnapped, asshole.
You had a nice night then?
Most enjoyable. Well, the man's an intolerable blowhard, but he...
We get it, Dutch. He blew you hard. They then start talking about the upcoming Rager, which apparently will have all the rich people dying to smoke meth and drink tequila. Abigail runs over to Jack, not listening to him recap his Italian weekend. She thanks Arthur and Dutch and expresses her excitement to the rest of the gang, while John is feeling a shit ton of emotions piled up on him. He's so relieved it's emotional.
We met Mr. Bronte. You ever meet an Italian strong man before?
Not outside of a circus.
Dutch dismisses Arthur and John after Hosea's circus joke, starting a huge gang rager. John shows appreciation for Arthur, and Arthur tells him to go hang out with his weird family, ending the mission. This mission is better. We get introduced to Barney the Angelo, get Jack back, and ends with Javier showing off his incredible guitar skills.
Suspiciously as usual.
High B tier.
My fault, Jack. You all right? Hi, Karen.
I think I might have had too much fun last night.
How many of those have you had?
Not enough.
Arthur, how you been? I've been real worried.
What do you want?
Don't be like that. Just a few bucks.
No, no, and thrice no. Arthur greets Marybeth, who's reading some smut, while Arthur asks about her regrets, just totally out of the blue. She says she has no regrets about joining this gang of maniacs, as Arthur defines it, because she doesn't know what her means are, and that this gang is nice to her. She then brings up Mary, Arthur's ex.
I heard you ran into that Mary girl.
Arthur starts trauma dumping on Marybeth after giving her a hit of a ciggy.
Well, she didn't love me enough, I guess. Or I wouldn't change.
Huh. Well, she was a fool then, Arthur.
Well, she put a lot of good years in on an outlaw. She definitely was a fool.
Mrs. Grimshaw interrupts the conversation by bringing up Tilly. In Chapter 2, Tilly almost got jumped by a man called Anthony Foreman. Apparently, she's been taken by him now, so Miss Grimshaw says, "Come along!"
I don't know what they've been doing here, but I can tell you what they're going to be doing here. Dying.
Tilly is at a house near Rhodes with the Foreman brothers, who have massive foreheads and foreskin. Apparently, Tilly killed one of the Foreman brothers in the past, which is what's motivating Anthony to torture her.
Some just require a firmer hand than others. You respect.
Thank you.
Miss Grimshaw then says something interesting.
Anyway, talking of folks disappearing, have you seen that boy Kieran since the party for Jack?
Huh. He's probably fine. They arrive at the place where Susan, that's her first name, acts like a lost girl, which will make the start of a very interesting video. The foreman isn't having it, telling her to get out of here, to which they have the appropriate response.
Now get out of here.
Oh, now you keep saying that.
Arthur runs in the house, missing a shot on a dude that's a couple feet away from him, and then tackling him to the floor, executing him.
What the hell you think you're doing?
Arthur then kicks down a door to see a disturbing sight of tied-up Tilly next to a foreskin brother. Arthur very poorly executed him, and tried to pick up his hat before rescuing Tilly. Tilly is frightened by how massive their foreheads were, so Arthur comforts her. As they escort Tilly out of the house, Tilly informs them that Anthony Foreskin went out hunting along with 3 other rusty foreskin brothers. I don't know. I'm so sorry you had to hear that. Arthur bursts out of the door in perfect timing to see the Forehead brothers arriving back from hunting, who quickly ride off after laying eyes on Mr. Morgan. Susan starts shooting at them from the back of Arthur's horse. One goes down, then another. Asslicker Anthony is all that remains. Susan tells Arthur to not kill him because she wants Tilly to be the last thing he sees. Arthur lassos him off his horse like Indiana Jones and hogties him.
All right. You bring that bastard back to Tilly so we can all have a nice little chat. I'm gonna head over there.
After kicking him a few times, Arthur places him on the back of Susan's horse while she takes Anthony's.
First idea what you're getting into. I'm Anthony Foreman.
Well, thanks for the introduction, Anthony. Is that Foreman with an A? I want the Undertaker to spell it right.
They arrive back at the house, and Arthur places him on the ground in front of Tilly.
I'm gonna head over there. You see this girl? You leave her alone.
She killed my cousin.
Your goddamn cousin had it coming, Anthony Foreman!
You know, a friend of mine, he always says, revenge is a fool's game.
You'll see Arthur mention the downsides of revenge a lot moving forward in the story. Arthur unties his feet only and lifts him up. Susan tells Arthur to slit his throat, while Tilly says that she wants to inform the rest of the Foreskin cousins, which sounds like a gang name from Alabama, to leave Tilly alone forever. Anthony says that he'll leave them alone, while Susan keeps peer pressuring Arthur to kill him.
I'll leave you alone. History is done.
Sorry to the people who might be mad at this, but Arthur lets him go. What? I need the honor. Susan leaves with Tilly, and Arthur shoves the loser aside. Fun fact, if you let Anthony go, there's actually a bounty on him later in the epilogue at Saint Denis, so you can still turn him in eventually. Not that memorable of a mission though, but I'm still gonna be nice. Low B tier.
You can make a fella real happy. Bet you know how.
I got work to do.
Don't mind me. Bye now.
That idiot.
About as charming as a slug.
The Gilded Cage. Dutch walks out of the house to remind them that the garden party that Barney invited them to was today.
Nick has invited us to the ball, Cinderella. So my suggestion is we go and get you a gown.
You son of a bitch.
We transition to Arthur, Dutch, and Hosea, and Bill, who Bill? He doesn't seem like the garden party type. Anyway, they already look drunk, and Hosea says that there might be some opportunities to pickpocket, to which Dutch says no, no, no. They all think it's amusing that they got invited to the mayor's house, which is amusing.
We're going to a party at the mayor's house, and the guest of honor is the worst crook in town. I'm sure that we will find something.
Okay.
The doorman asks to give up their weapons, because something happened in the previous year. You ever think it's annoying when people are like, oh, last year was such a disaster. Oh, but I can't discuss it. I just simply can't. They all pat the doorman on the arm, but Arthur only gives him a slight nod since he's cooler than all of them. This dumbass Luca escorts us to Signor Bronte.
Mr. Bronte, he has the thing, you know, respect.
No. He has no respect at all. He kidnapped a child! Dutch tells Bill and Hosea to get drunk with Mr. Mayor, while Dutch and Arthur deal with Barney. I'm gonna just call him anything at random times at this point. Dutch starts sucking Bronte's dick again, telling him it's so cool how he's the big guy around here, and talking to him and his dick. While Arthur smokes a fat cigar, Bronte points to... Okay, wait, what did I say? Talking to him and his dick. Bronte points Dutch to the mayor, who will apparently do anything for $1. Don't get any ideas. He then points us to a dude who had a massive wardrobe malfunction. He also says his name is Alberto Fusar, who owns a sugar plantation on a random island that we won't be seeing anytime soon. Bronte finally points us to the man we have all been waiting for. A fat guy with a strangely young wife. Kendrick, get to work, buddy. We then get partially introduced to the characters who actually have an impact later in the story, but we'll get to those later.
I have no sympathy for them, because whoever is stupid enough to get tricked by the Americans, no, they get what they deserve, huh?
There's something I have to say that I just need to get this off my chest. Bronte is a racist little weak asshole retarded fucking little I don't like him. Bronte hints Dutch to kill a man for him, and Dutch says that they aren't any sort of hitman. Bronte manipulates Dutch, referring to him as his friend. Dutch says that he'll help anyone, in any way, within reason, which Bronte doesn't understand. Idiot.
All these vulgar people, they hate me.
Yeah, I can see why. I hate you too. Dutch tries to get out of the conversation, after Bronte wishes upon everyone's death out loud in Italian.
Yes, go, enjoy yourselves and mingle with this vulgar scum. It'll make you long for the days when you could shoot each other and screw cows out on the open range.
Those sure were the days.
One thing I like about this game is that it's set in a time period where people like Arthur, Dutch, the rest of the gang are past their time as cowboys, outlaw kind of thing, and it's leaning more into the modern day world. Dutch suddenly asks Bronte for money, and Bronte tells him to go rob a trolley station sometime, which is full of cash. He says they will get a pass since they know Bronte, which is so strange. Bronte is a guest at the mayor's house, and he thinks he runs the city himself. That's literally the mayor's job. You're just rich. You don't do shit. You just sit on your ass and be Italian and old. That's it. Luca escorts Dutch and Arthur back to the party after suspiciously locking a door, which Arthur tries to open after watching it lock with his own eyes. Arthur walks down the steps to the epic rager with everyone in rugged up clothes, drinking and smoking and getting wasted and drunk and high while the DJ plays some banger heavy metal and hard dubstep.
Of course.
Outrageous. These dancers. Well, if that's French culture for you, sign me up for French lessons.
Arthur has some interesting conversations with the guests outside. He then sees a walking nutcracker choke on absolutely nothing. He then tries his best not to save him since the outfit is a tragedy, but his good side gets the better of him. Of course his name is Algernon Wasp. Look at him. He then gives Arthur a useless card in return for saving his life, and Arthur is so disgusted by the offer that he takes it and leaves. He then joins a conversation with the mayor, other people, and a drunk.
You are drunk, Ferdinand.
I'm not drunk, you fool. But this man loves darkies.
Arthur grabs him and escorts him out of the party, then returns back to the mayor. The mayor thanks Arthur and introduces him to a famous writer who Arthur seems to recognize as fireworks start happening. Someone grabs the mayor or the writer, I can't tell the difference, and says something about Mr. Corn.
Mr. Cornwall is a horse's ass, and a bad horse.
Dutch tells Arthur to go find out what he's saying, so Arthur follows the man inside the house.
Marie! Find that little reprobate Jip and beat him!
The man goes upstairs after being rude to a houseworker and unlocks the door that Luca locked earlier. He puts a ledger in the desk drawer and leaves the room through the other door. Yeah. Arthur walks in and retrieves the ledger, and Arthur takes it and leaves the scene.
Mr. Leviticus Cornwall. Top secret. Extremely confidential. Very interesting.
The four get reunited, with Bill being mad about not getting laid, and Hosea sounding like he discovered something interesting. In one short conversation, the gang talks about upcoming scores, which lead to 3 awesome missions. The doorman gives the gang their guns back as they get driven back, sounding not as thrilled as they did on the way to the party.
Oh, high society pigeon shit.
Here's them papers I took.
Anybody see you take this?
I don't think so.
I might have an idea. Let me think on it.
We're taken next morning, where Dutch informs Arthur that Hosea is working on the bank robbery, and that Evelyn Miller, the writer, is helping the indigenous man Bronte was being racist toward. Scumbag. Anyway, Dutch says that maybe they could help Miller and the Indian chief. He also mentions a riverboat hosting a high-stakes poker game, which will obviously be carrying a lot of dollar bills, y'all, and that Trelawney will meet Arthur at the tailor. Dutch then leaves, mentioning the trolley robbery that Bronte told them about. Damn, this mission wasn't too bad. It was definitely boring at times, but it sets up some very good and impactful missions for the chapter. It was also a pretty funny thing to see this gang at the fucking mayor's garden party. Low A tier. At camp, Molly isn't the best mental state.
All of you turned him against me.
Arthur donates a gold bar so Dutch can have better sleeps with Bronte. Better sleeps. Jack is lying down in the middle of the carpet. Arthur jumps off the balcony and this happens.
I'm just happy to have the boy back safe.
What the fuck is this? I had to save the game just to see what happens if we start this mission, and it's nothing too crazy, but it's a little creepy.
How you doing, Mrs. Adler?
Anyway, then reads a letter from Mary Linton. I won't be covering or ranking any side missions throughout this series, so I'm just not going to talk about this one. But I did the mission. I didn't have fun at all.
Do not doubt. As a child, when I walked the
She sure is hot. Yeah! Fine lady.
Let's move on to the cooler mission. A fine night of debauchery. Am I pronouncing that right? I don't know. Arthur meets Trelawney at the... Well, actually, he just sits around smoking while he waits for him. Trelawney turns up, insulting Arthur's outfit, saying he can't go to a high-stakes poker game like that, which is true. They walk in the tailor, and Arthur buys a new suit with the weapon holster still attached. Trelawney then leads Arthur to the barber while they discuss the plan.
You play cards and win.
Wow, great. I mean, it's still better than Dutch's plans. He tells Arthur to always bet big to win more money and to make the games last shorter, and that dickhead Strauss will be signaling Arthur's move from across the room.
When you bust the place, they'll take you upstairs to pay you off. And that is when Javier comes in, and you take whatever you want.
You don't think they might see an armed Mexican coming into the safe with me?
Sure, they might, but perhaps not.
Arthur gets a bowl cut and a beard trim, and then they get driven to the boat on a coach, where Arthur asks about who specifically the target is for kicking ass in poker.
It's a man called Desmond Blythe.
Okay, Desmond Blythe. Arthur then questions Strauss's ability to not be an asshole, which Trelawney reassures him, saying the poker dealer is a friend. They arrive at the boat, where Trelawney tells Arthur to leave his guns at the coach.
Now remember what I said, Arthur. Everyone is the author of his own good fortune.
Trelawney does the floss as they greet Strauss and Javier. Arthur starts to doubt himself as they walk onto the boat. Arthur sits down at the poker table with Desmond Blythe, while the dealer deals the deal. The game starts, and Arthur looks at Strassel, who tells him to fold. Desmond immediately goes all in after the first card turnover, which the entire poker table calls. I know poker. Desmond won since he had a 3 of a kind with a 10 high, which left only Arthur and Desmond at the table. Tensions are high as the next game starts, where Arthur gets 2 queens off the rip. Then Leo Pole Dancer signals to keep betting twice. Desmond goes all in again since he's a gambling addict, which Leo Pole Dancer Strassel tells him to call. I'm gonna stop calling him that. You're welcome. Desmond had a 2 of a kind with jacks, but Arthur barely beat him with 2 queens, which Desmond isn't too thrilled about.
Shit! You done? Done. Bust. Or, you got something else to play with.
Meaning?
Well, I heard there was some big boys on this boat. Maybe that's not you. No offense.
Sit your hillbilly ass down.
Well played, Arthur Morgan.
I got a watch. It's worth more than you.
Ouch. The dealer then gives Arthur 2 kings, since he's a friend with Trelawney, so he's... Dude, already? Strauss tells Arthur to call, while the dealer repeats a line used by Trelawney before they arrived on the boat.
Don't worry, sir. Everyone is the author of his own good fortune.
Everyone is the author of his own good fortune.
It's revealed that Desmond has 2 aces, which beats 2 kings. Arthur sounds defeated, but once the card turns over, it turns out that Arthur had a flush. To all the people watching this who don't know about poker, Desmond actually had a 3 of a kind, 3 aces, but Arthur had 2 kings, one of them being diamond, and once 4 out of 5 cards on the table were diamond, Arthur got a flush. 5 diamond cards. The cards on the table are both Arthur and Desmond's. Since a flush beats a 3 of a kind, Desmond and his huge ego shit his pants.
No offense.
None taken.
Desmond looks hard defeated while Arthur gets led upstairs to the watch. Arthur gets his chips cashed out while the racist escort looks so shocked that a Mexican is security. Javier escorts the escort, who escorts Arthur up to the watch.
I cannot believe someone gave a greaser a job.
After being racist again, he then shows off his wimpy gun, very proud of himself.
Next, we'll be hiring Negroes.
Okay, this dude gotta stop. As Randy Racist opens the safe, Javier hits the guard and points toward him. Arthur disarms him and shoves him aside.
Guess you were right. Only an idiot would give a greaser a gun.
Ha! That was well played again. What the fuck? Arthur shoots the pit boss right in the head, which he does not look very pleased with. Is he crying? Arthur quickly loots the safe and calmly walks back down to the poker game with Javier. Guards run up, hearing the gunshot, as Javier questions their escape route, because there is none.
To the bar, senor!
Happy Arthur Morgan goes over to the bar and greets Desmond, who is crying out to Trelawney about his loss.
And something I don't like about the pair of you.
There's plenty I don't like about you, but I have the good manners to keep my mouth shut.
There he is! Shoot that man!
Strauss hilariously hits a guard in the head with a wine bottle, which I for some reason find very amusing.
No, this ain't my show! Silly me, I clean forgot to bring my...
We gotta go! Come on!
The gang jumps off the boat and swims all the way back to the Saint Denis docks. They count up the money they made, which seems to be a few thousand. Strauss then takes a look at the watch Arthur won.
Yes, it's a right lingo, all right.
We'll give it back then. Come on, let's get out of here.
What a fun, awesome mission. S tier.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Horseman Apocalypse. Arthur greets Sadie, who says it's been quite the time riding with Arthur every night and riding with the gang. She talks about Arthur and Dutch joining high society, then they talk shit about Bill.
I just saw Bill Williamson at a party at the San Denis's mayor's house. If he can do it, anyone can.
Dutch interrupts the two by getting Arthur to come upstairs to talk, when Sadie asks this question.
Miss Sadler, will you excuse us?
When you gonna let me come robbing with you, Dutch?
My lord, a few more like her, we could take over the whole world.
A few more like her, there wouldn't be much of a world left.
Dutch talks to Arthur about the trolley station, saying they can rob it. Dutch tells Arthur to leave the planning to him, because Dutch is the best at coming up with plans. They need one more person, so Arthur recommends Lenny, which slightly surprises Dutch, who wants Micah to come along with them. I could see why he wants Micah to ride with him. He's a very skilled gunman and great in combat, but not very pleasant to have around.
No, I wish that there was something I could do to make the two of you get along better.
Well, that's easy. Make him change.
They're in a great mood for some reason. I hope nothing disturbs that.
What is that?
What the hell have they done to me?
Kieran was the O'Driscoll that the gang kidnapped back in Chapter 1, and I guess the O'Driscolls found him and did this, sending a message.
There in the tree line.
Everybody take cover! O'Driscoll boys!
O'Driscolls rise from the trees, shooting at the gang. In the corner, you can see Jack standing there helplessly, who John picks up and carries him to cover. Father and son moments that will be cherished forever.
Children, inside! Rest of you, hold your ground!
Dutch sends Arthur downstairs, which is in sheer panic. Arthur opens the door to let everyone inside, then goes out to shoot some O'Driscolls.
Hold here! Hold here! Any more casualties?
Just Kieran! At the moment.
Let's try and keep it there.
What? How did I die? A wagon rolls in, and one of the horses gets shot, and then they both get blown up. Aw. I'm sorry.
What in God's name is...
They run back inside and block the door with a cabinet.
Now, everyone, I got this. Get these windows covered quickly. John, you take the windows over there. Charles, you take the side door there. Arthur, you take the windows in the back. Go!
He hears Sadie from outside, who he goes and helps.
Sadie? Why didn't you get inside?
And miss all this?
Holy shit. Arthur missed 50 shots on 2 O'Driscolls standing right there, and Sadie killed all of them with a knife. What? Arthur tries to get her inside the house, but Sadie says no. The rest of the gang runs outside, charging toward the O'Driscolls, making them retreat.
Cowards! We okay?
I think so. Except for Karen here. Poor kid.
Mr. Swanson.
Sadie is covered in gross O'Driscoll blood. Gross. The gang gets rid of Kieran's body, and Hosea holding a severed head is so strange to see. Dutch thinks the gang should relocate, which Arthur asks to confirm, but Dutch says that Arthur's brain is too small, and the new camp won't do much for them. Dutch wants to leave the country. Arthur doesn't understand.
You will, son. You will. Meet me near the trolley station. We got work.
Shall we?
Yep.
This was a very short mission, but it was awesome, leaving one of my personal favorite gunfights in the game and the graphic death of a camp member. Although Kieran's death didn't have that much of an impact, in my opinion anyway, it was... Jesus. This mission is really cool, in my opinion. It's one of the highlights of the chapter for sure. This mission gets an S tier.
He saved my life, and I could not save his. Mrs. Adler fought braver than any of us. She is driven by powerful forces I scarcely understand. That's what love has done to her, I guess. I'm getting tired of these O'Driscolls now.
Me too.
This feud has gone on long enough. Okay, I'll catch you later then.
American Fathers.
Like a coward?
Wait. This isn't the mission. Hold on, let me just... American Fathers. Oh boy, we finally get introduced to Rainsfall, the chief from the garden party. Arthur doesn't recognize the writer he recognized at the garden party, so they also get reintroduced.
Can I say something rude?
Sure.
The mayor thinks you robbed him.
That's not rude. It's what happened.
Extremely confidential. Very interesting.
He says the mayor doesn't care that he got robbed by Arthur because he likes Arthur and he's sexually attracted to him. Miller then asks Arthur some questions about robbery, which Arthur clearly sees the picture of and confronts him.
Well, I'm sorry. Have you met? This is Rainsfall, a great chief, and his son, Eagle Flies.
Gentlemen, we saw you in the wagon train crossing the river at Cumberland Falls.
Remember that? Back in Chapter 1, when the gang looked at the figures on the mountain while Arthur broke the goddamn wheel?
I broke the goddamn wheel.
Rainsfall continues with a sad monologue, saying he and the tribe have fought hard to live a peaceful life, and that the whites made the peace treaties that have been broken against them, which is fucked up. You don't break peace treaties. These people are just living their lives. Eagle Flies, Rainsfall's son, says that it will lead to war if the whites make the tribe move again. But Rainsfall just wants peace, so he encourages his son that no war will happen, unless someone gets in the way of everything.
They have got stronger, and we have become far weaker, Mr. Morgan.
Well, it's bad business.
It's to do with oil.
Miller claims that the oil was the problem, but has no proof, so he wants Arthur to steal the report.
I believe there were some prospectors who were on their land a few months ago who have filed reports with Leviticus Cornwall and the state government claiming huge reserves of oil under their land.
So, you want me to try and steal it?
Arthur rejects Miller, saying he's not a do-gooder, and apologizes to Rainsfall and walks away.
We will pay you very handsomely, Mr. Morgan.
Never mind. Eagle Flies calls Arthur a mercenary, and Arthur retaliates, saying he's wanted dead or alive in 2 states, and that the government doesn't like either of them.
Like you, I've been running for as long as I can remember. And like you, my time here is nigh undone.
We understand, and we will pay.
After money comes up, Arthur accepts the bribe, and Rainsfall tells Arthur to meet Eagle Flies at a rock in a few days. Meet the best character in the game besides Arthur Morgan, Rainsfall. I can't tell you how yet, but Rainsfall easily surpasses every single character other than Arthur later in the story. Arthur meets Eagle Flies at Citadel Rock, who is surprised that Arthur showed up to begin with. Eagle Flies points Arthur to an office where the file was located, and then the file will be destroyed if they know Arthur's coming. But Arthur says it's just him, so it should be low-key and chill. Arthur then double-checks if Eagle Flies has the money, then asks for ideas on his entrance. Eagle Flies tells him to hide in a wagon, which is what Arthur does. He hides in the wagon for the duration of the ride, and then sneaks out of the wagon and into the factory, navigating guards as he makes his way into the office.
You must be Danbury. Who?
Arthur just walks in the office like any other day, and after staring at Danbury for a while, he drags him over the table and starts beating him. Danbury keeps slurring his words like a drunk, probably because he's getting beaten.
Danbury, think, man. Mind is a terrible thing to lose, especially over such a nice floor as this.
Danbury gives in, handing Arthur the file from his desk. Suddenly, there's a knock at the door, asking if Danbury's okay.
No, Danbury.
Danbury? Danbury, you
Tell the guard you're fine.
Something I've never paid attention to is Arthur's facial expressions. What the fuck is this? Here it is from an NPC's perspective from Neston's channel, who actually has some hilarious Red Dead content.
I'm sorry. You just call me a fool?
A fool! A fool! A fool!
Come here!
Oh my lord!
I can't tell you how hard I laughed at that the first time I saw it. Oh yeah, I'm doing my own video. Arthur climbs out of the window, but falls down the roof, and is exposed to the guards.
Hey, hold it right there! Weapons on the ground and hands in the air.
Easy now, fellas.
Now, we won't tell you again.
An explosion goes off in the distance, which gives Arthur time to take cover and start shooting. Arthur runs toward the explosion and finds eagle flies. They escape the factory while both of them use a bow and arrow to kill the remaining guards. They lose them, where Arthur thanks Eagle Flies for the explosion, to which Eagle Flies responds by saying he was happy to watch the oil burn.
I thought you wasn't getting involved.
Thought you were gonna enter and leave silently.
Thank you. You saved my life.
Thank you. I hope. Well, I don't know what I hope. But who knows? Maybe these will be of some use. Here's your money.
You can tell Arthur feels weird about accepting money from a man who saved his life. Arthur stares at the destruction that lays afar as Eagle Flies rides away, ending the mission. I'm feeling a high A tier on this mission. Super fun, great characters.
Hey, hold up.
Nice try, dirtbag!
Urban pleasures. Arthur meets Dutch and Lenny at the trolley station for the robbery. Dutch scolds Arthur for being late, when Arthur doesn't see the big deal about it, but Dutch wants to leave the country, so he's getting a little impatient. Now you might ask, where does Dutch want to run to? Where is the paradise he's been dreaming of?
Now, I found a friendly ship captain. He's willing to take us to Australia or Tahiti.
Oh boy. This might go to the triple digits.
Well, where the hell is Tahiti?
South Pacific, an untouched paradise.
Who lives there?
Tahitians.
Arthur asks where the money is coming from, where Dutch points to the trolley station. Dutch keeps saying they need money, and Bronte told him to rob the trolley station, so... money! They put their masks on and enter the station.
Come on! Ladies and gentlemen, this is a robbery.
Something about this mission that I hate is that you lose honor for doing things the game tells you to do. Rockstar... Dude. The worker lets Arthur in after being threatened by Dutch, where Arthur tells him to open the safe.
Open it.
I don't think they keep much cash in there.
Open it!
The worker says that there's not really anything in there, which there should be. Barney told them.
There's almost nothing here.
There should be stacks of cash in there. He told us there was. Look again.
There's no stacks. A few dollars in coins, that's it. Damn, we got a problem.
The law turns up weirdly super fast after realizing that Bronte led them into a trap.
Son of a bitch, he set us up. You think? This seemed like a good time for sarcasm to you, Arthur?
The three are in deep shit as they figure out what to do next. The trolley then goes by as they quickly hop on. Dutch throws the trolley driver out and takes over himself.
Does this trolley go to Tahiti?
This is one of the coolest gunfights in the game, as Arthur shoots the law hanging from the moving trolley. The trolley starts speeding up as Dutch tells Arthur to slow it down, which he tries to do, but unfortunately...
The thing's broke. Hold on!
The gang is injured from the crash, mostly Dutch, who suffered a likely concussion, which is probably why they won't shut up about Tahiti and making bad plans. The law still comes for them, causing another shootout in the big city. That's good cover, buddy. Arthur picks up a double-barrel shotgun from one of the dead lawmen, and... one of the coolest kill cams ever. The gang enters an alley where yet another super sick kill cam happens. I am on a roll! Kinda like that trolley. They exit the alley, where another kill cam happens, but this time, it's in the ass. You know what, editor, just play all the sick kill cams that happen in this mission. Gang gets on the wagon and makes their escape. Dutch in his head wound starts shooting the horses and not the law. They head for the bridge, but the law is blocking the road ahead. So Dutch uses quick thinking and lights up a dynamite, throws it at the law, and Arthur shoots it in midair. Fucking awesome. Arthur clearly missed that. The gang makes it out and gets off the wagon. Arthur starts making fun of Dutch, where Dutch comes back saying it felt like a good lead when he heard it, which is fair. Bronte liked Dutch, and he was actually pretty honest with him. He gave Jack back when he said he would. He invited them to the mayor's party. I think Dutch had the right idea going with Bronte's suggestion, but unfortunately, he's not one to be trusted. I totally understand why Dutch thought it would be a good lead after all. The gang really hasn't done anything to Bronte, and he liked the gang. If you're desperate for money like Dutch is, you'll really do anything to get to Tahiti.
Well, we made it. Thanks to you.
Don't mention it.
Yeah, you're a good kid. And we each got $15. Oh, and a quarter. Don't forget the quarter. Shut up, Arthur.
Arthur's way of coping with things like this is sarcasm and bitterness, but he's still, in my opinion, in the wrong for this one. He's still the greatest character in anything. Actually, why would there be thousands of dollars at a trolley station? Yeah, that's one thing Dutch didn't really think about. Dutch once again claims that Bronte set them up, and then proceeds to say all the things I said, like a copycat.
What do we do to him? What did I do to him? I guess he thinks he's the king around here. He don't want the likes of you. So, what are we doing next, Dutch? We just need money. One more decent take, and we're gone. The bank is our bet. Hey, you did real good there, Lenny. Just wish it could have turned out better.
Well, can't win them all.
Lenny's a good sport. Lenny's the best. He's probably so excited for the bank robbery. Well, above all, this mission is probably getting an S tier. Wait, total take $46? My share is 15? Hell nah. A tier. Here are some interesting things Arthur does.
Hey, people, hold up!
Are you having trouble?
Hey, boy. Hello, boy.
You will love that, I swear.
I won't ask too many questions about its previous ownership. Thanks.
We pay respect to the dead.
Tell us straight, Father.
Sir, we're in a moment of grief. Oh, Father, what do we say about a man who lost his way so awfully?
He then goes and collects things for a slave owner, and then a shot of my horse's ass pops up right there after Arthur said, and some legacies, referring to the legacies as a horse's ass. I kind of had to throw that in there because that's so fucking funny, and it's true.
And some legacies? Oh, they are for pissing. What are you doing?
Country pursuits. Arthur walks up to Dutch and, what the fuck? They're apparently talking about taking revenge against Bronte, which Hosea is against, since the whole gang has always said revenge is a fool's game, but Dutch keeps fighting about killing Bronte. As the cutscene randomly turns to nighttime, he says that Angelo Bronte doesn't mean anything to him, but they need to put him down since he stands in the way of the bank robbery, which I don't think he does, to be honest. Hosea is still against this, saying there's an easier way than unnecessary payback, and that it doesn't feel right. Dutch claims that this bank job will be the last job they will ever pull, since they'll have enough money for Tahiti.
It just don't feel good, Dutch.
This is it.
We are gonna be harvesting mangoes in Tahiti. Farmers, trust me. Arthur.
If it's business, well, business is business.
Angelo Bronte stands between us and our future.
You'll damn us all.
Arthur, come on.
This cutscene is just sad. You can see that Hosea just wants what's best for the group, since taking down Bronte won't have a positive outcome. You can also see him trying to get Arthur to side with himself on the debate, but Arthur agrees with Dutch. Hosea is right about the situation. It will damn them all, but not in the way you think.
Quit doubting, Arthur. It does no favors.
Huh. That's interesting. Interesting. Dutch and Arthur ride out to see a man called Thomas, who will give them a boat ride planning the Bronte assassination. They have a very interesting conversation on the way over. Dutch claims that Hosea is losing his mind, and Arthur asks if killing Bronte is for revenge or for the bank job, and Dutch makes a confusing response.
Oh, neither. What does it matter?
Arthur points out the fact that there's a lot going on, and killing Bronte might not be the best idea, which Dutch gets very defensive about.
Is this Tahiti plan really gonna work out?
You tell me, Arthur. Is it? Have some goddamn faith. I am bending over backwards to make a future for us.
I know, but...
What? When did you become so small-minded?
He then tells Arthur that if he wants to break up the gang, then to just speak up about it. When all Arthur did was question Dutch's Tahiti plan. What the fuck is it with Dutch and Tahiti? And since Arthur doesn't want anything between the two, he sides with Dutch, making it easier. Wow, that bash on the head really did a number on him. They arrive at Thomas's, where Dutch introduces Thomas to Arthur. He then discusses the favor he wants from him.
What do you need?
You know Angelo Bronte. Well, exactly.
Dutch asks him to row the boat to Bronte's house quietly one night, which Thomas agrees. Dutch offers to pay, but Thomas says Bronte's gonna die, so that's more than enough for me. Thomas then says that he has to go check the catfish traps and asks for Dutch's assistance. They start walking in the water, finding one of the traps, which has nothing inside.
I don't want to know what just touched my leg.
Mr. Dutch, you sure you the right fellas to be going after Angelo Bronte?
They continue checking the catfish traps. They then come across an alligator, which they have to stay still around. Once the gator leaves, they keep moving. At the next trap, Thomas asks Mr. Arthur for some help, which he delivers, revealing that something broke out of the trap.
No, but only something huge could do this. Fantastic. Let's hope it bites you first, Dutch.
They wait for more gators to pass by, then split up to find Jules, Thomas's business partner, who my dumbass completely forgot to mention. Arthur finds Jules in a tree, saying that a monster out there, and I know he's not talking about Biter the monster, so it's probably an alligator.
You must be Jules.
Yes.
Where is the boat?
Over there.
Arthur tries to retrieve the boat, but it's stuck on a few logs. He eventually gets it loose once Dutch and Thomas arrive and Jules comes down from the tree. They start paddling away, but get caught on a tree stump, so Thomas sends Jules down there to go pull the boat away from the stump, which Jules is against, but does it anyway.
Jules? Shit, he won't kidding.
Jules then gets taken by a gator, and Arthur jumps in to save him. They keep moving around since the gator has a hold of Jules.
I got you, son. I got you.
Arthur picks Jules up and goes back to the boat, but the gator is still following them, so Dutch shoots the gator, hoping to make it fuck off, but it won't. They then get back on the boat and shoot the gator more. After the gator goes back to fuck another gator, Arthur tries to stop the bleeding from Jules' wound, but unfortunately, the gator only lasts 30 seconds in bed, so he's back for more.
Don't let him get any closer! Okay, I think it's had enough.
Arthur and Dutch start bittering back and forth until they arrive at the dock.
I weren't the one squealing.
Yeah, well, you weren't in the water with him. And this poor boy was nearly dinner. Can we get some help?
Some people carry Jules over to a place off screen. Thomas tells Dutch that he's at his service whenever needed, and Dutch thanks him, and goes back to camp to Netflix and argue with Molly. Thomas and Arthur then talk shit about Bronte, which ends the mission. I am not a fan. I do not like this mission very much. The only thing I really like about it is the dialogue between Dutch and Hosea. and Dutch and Arthur. But other than that, it's not for me. I'm giving this mission a reasonable C tier.
Please, help!
Where am I? Hi there, mister. Hey there. Morning. Morning to you. That was good work, Doctor. Look out.
Beg your
What's Tahiti like, anyhow?
Revenge is a dish best eaten. Arthur meets the gang at Thomas's dock, ready to fuck up Barney's day. The gang immediately gets going, while Thomas paddles very slowly, which leaves time to have a nice chat with Bill.
Them Indians were savages.
Okay, never mind. Dutch then sums up racism.
Dutch, I saw things out there.
I don't doubt you saw things, Bill, but your tiny little mind was too small to comprehend what you saw. What you saw was people who lost everything to savagery. Savagery of peasants. Failures come from Europe to reap some awful vengeance on God's last creation.
Interesting way you boys got up preparing for a killing.
Exactly. Maybe the Indians were savages because the whites were savages to them for no fucking reason when they took their land. Dutch tells the gang that he loves them, and Arthur starts questioning the upcoming assassination, saying to put love aside.
Don't you never leave love aside, Arthur. It's all we got.
They arrive outside Bronte's house and climb the ledge, making it onto the property.
John, you take the left side. If you see a shot, you take it. Okay?
The gang splits up, leaving Arthur with John. They see some guards up ahead, who Arthur throws a knife at one of them, but John had to be loud and shoots one of them, causing a shootout. The gang takes out the Bronte guards one by one as Dutch does a little funny stroll while reloading a weapon. Arthur gets shot, but picking up his hat is more important. After the last guard is taken care of, they make their way into the house, while Arthur shoots the lock with a shotgun.
Now kick that damn door in. Arthur, look out!
Wow, that kick wasn't very satisfying. Another sick kill cam takes place, and another, as Arthur takes out more of the guards inside the house.
Send them all!
Arthur then reads a note. After making it upstairs and lighting a dude on fire, Arthur has some trouble killing a guard while a certain someone is trying to hide in a bathtub. G-O-G, I wonder who that could be. Brontosaurus doesn't know how to use a gun, so he starts trying to spit out money, which John has the appropriate response for.
Name your price. Name your price. Every man have a price. Eh? Okay. No, I surrender.
You can carry him. I ain't touching that piece of shit.
You already did touch him, John. The law turns up as Arthur makes his way downstairs, so he starts shooting the law with one of the richest members of the Saint Denis High Society unconscious on his shoulders. This game is awesome. They make it to the boat, with Thomas waiting. They drag Brontosaurus onto the boat, and okay, how did I not come up with this name sooner? Brontosaurus? Bronte? It's fucking perfect. They quickly paddle away, and wake up the asshole, where, in my opinion, some of the best dialogue in the game takes place. Dutch makes fun of Bronte, who calls him pathetic, which Dutch finds ironic because Bronte is about to die. Bronte then says some words that hurt Dutch a little, but then lies and says that he runs a city and that he is America. Okay, 1, you do not run a city, you are rich. That does not mean you run it. The mayor runs it, who you literally met. 2, you are not the definition of America. When I look up America on Google, does the first thing that comes up is Angelo Brontosaurus is a fucking bitch? It should. Also, you're Italian, you confuse the shit out of me. Dutch easily responds to Brontosaurus' argument.
I am this country. You are what people are running from.
I possess things. that you will never understand.
You don't even possess your own men. $1,000 to the man who kills him and sets me free.
What are you gonna say now?
They are even bigger fools than you.
No doubt.
The law will find you. Already, the dogs are on the way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're right. You are so right.
They are good at smelling filth, huh? So filth has got to be disposed of. Our friends the Pinkertons are gonna come and rescue you, you repulsive little maggot.
Dutch starts drowning Bronte, telling him to call the Pinkertons, which is a little difficult when you're in the process of drowning. The gang, especially Arthur, is clearly afraid of Dutch at this very moment, slowly realizing what kind of man he is and what he craves. Revenge, the thing the gang has always been against. The bubbles stop coming from Bronte's mouth as an alligator stares at dead Angelo Bronte in front of it.
Jesus. Part of your philosophy books cover feeding a fella. The goddamn alligator, Dutch.
The part that covers weakness. That part.
Arthur and John, clearly the only ones who seem actually worried for the future of this group, stare at the crime scene, thinking. They get off the boat, stun-locked, ending the mission. What the actual fuck? This mission gets to the top of S tier. This, to me, is the mission where Dutch finally said, fuck this, let's have fun. This is the mission where he finally loses his mind. But something happens next mission which makes the situation even worse. Speaking of the upcoming mission, banking, the old American arts. Oh boy, oh boy, now this is a big one. I bet that's something you've never heard. This is a huge mission in the game, and if you've even made it this far, or to be honest, just skipped right to this mission, which I totally understand why you would do that, thank you. I promise I will pour my energy into this one and give it what it deserves. Arthur walks up to Hosea and Dutch, who are currently planning the bank robbery, which apparently Dutch doesn't really like, which is ironic considering his plans barely even exist. Like, do you want to go to Tahiti or not? Hosea mentions that there's only one armed guard at the bank, along with police, but city polices are so not exactly an oh shit we're cooked moment. Dutch asks Arthur his thoughts, to which Arthur says that there aren't very many options, and that the lawmen aren't very intelligent. Dutch is being cautious with the plan, only because he didn't come up with it.
Every plan is a good plan if we execute it properly. Every problem we had was because we did not execute properly. Even Blackwater, from my understanding.
Oh, Blackwater wasn't executed properly because Micah wasn't executed. Dutch agrees with Hosea for like the first time in a while, and stands up.
Let's rob this bastard.
The gang gets some sleep, and we're taken to the next morning, where Arthur comes out looking very fuckable, and Hosea goes over the aftermath of the robbery once more.
Living life anew in a tropical idyll, spending the last of our days as banana farmers. Let's get out of this godforsaken place and go rob ourselves a bank!
The gang cheers and rides off to Saint Denis.
This is it, gentlemen. The last one. Where have we heard that before?
After John's foreshadowing, Dutch comes down on him, saying he lost his heart, when Dutch has lost his entire brain. Hosea and Abigail ride ahead of them for the distraction after Dutch arranges everyone's positions. The gang then rides very close to each other over the bridge to Saint Denis. They arrive at Lemon National Bank. Dutch then reassures everyone, saying that robbing thieves is a-okay, since rich people apparently stole this country's potential. After waiting and observing the scenery, an explosion goes off in the distance as a distraction.
I love that Hosea. He is a true artist.
Arthur then coughs, which probably won't happen again, as the gang waits at the entrance for Arthur, and finally puts the plan into action.
Gentlemen, let's go! Ladies and gentlemen, this is a holdup! Who do you think you are?
Arthur threatens the manager, telling him to open the vault, which he does. Arthur and Dutch walk in and start opening the safes while the manager tells him the combination. For some reason, balloons started popping up on my Xbox screen, which is very annoying, but at least Arthur got the safes open. Arthur makes his way over to the second safe when he hears John's voice from outside. The gang takes cover behind the walls, thinking it's just lawmen, but unfortunately, Agent Milf followed through with his returning with 50 men statement, and none other than Hosea, hostage outside.
Come out! It's over!
Shit! Abigail!
Dutch! Get out here! Get out here now!
Someone must have squealed.
Never should have gone after Bronte, Dutch.
Dutch tries convincing him to let Hosea go, creating intense suspense by the second. Milton claims that there are no more deals or bargains that can get Dutch out of this one, to which Dutch responds by saying in America, deals are always possible. Milton gives in and gives Dutch a deal, but it's not the one he was hoping for. In a shocking moment, Milton seems like he's handing Hosea over to Dutch, but instead,
No!
God damn it!
God damn it!
a massive shootout takes place right outside the Bank of Saint Denis, while Hosea's corpse is lying in the middle of it. I have more to say about Hosea's death, but I'll say more in a little bit. Dutch yells at Arthur as a crazy amount of gunshots is firing in his direction.
Get over here!
Dutch gives Arthur some dynamite to blow up the wall. Dutch tosses Arthur a repeater and goes up to the roof for extra angles. The law is coming from almost every single angle and eventually pulls up with a Gatling gun, which Arthur takes care of, causing the lawman to drop his hat. The rest of the gang makes it up onto the roof, where Dutch gives Arthur some unfortunate news.
We lost John.
Killed?
Arrested. I couldn't help.
Well, we better go. We'll be next.
With John arrested and Hosea dead, the gang doesn't take any more chances, and Arthur and Lenny make a break for it, which results in another shocking and impactful situation. Lenny looks back at Arthur as two Pinkertons appear right in front of him and shoot him with no hesitation.
We can get across here!
No!
Arthur runs over to Lenny, trying to save him, while the rest of the gang runs right past him, which is the last thing Lenny sees as he passes away. Arthur sits for a moment, taking everything all in. Lenny was only 19 years old, and the last thing he laid eyes on was Arthur, and the rest of the gang ignoring his death and running right past. Arthur picks himself back up and jumps to the next roof, where the gang sits for a bit. Arthur follows Dutch roof to roof and eventually make their way inside a building through an open window.
They knew we were coming, just like your ferry job in Blackwater. Ain't nothing like that.
Arthur officially has suspicions on Micah from this moment. Dutch sort of blocks the window and figures out what they're going to do next. Dutch eventually comes up with a plan.
I got it. A boat.
Dutch says to sneak down to the docks at night and take off on a boat, and he tells Charles to get off the chair so Dutch can sit, and then stands up out of the chair 5 seconds later to tell everyone to calm down. The gang rests in an empty room, processing everything that happened, with Hosea's death, John's arrest, and Lenny's death. Hosea's death massively impacts the gang and Dutch's mental health. Dutch has been disagreeing with Hosea a lot since Blackwater. Even in Chapter 1, there are interactions where Hosea calls Dutch out for the mistakes he makes, while Dutch flips out again and again. There's even an interaction where Arthur walks up to Hosea, and Hosea tells Arthur to keep an eye on Dutch, since he's not himself at the moment. Hosea warned Dutch just 2 missions ago, saying he'll damn them all. And you can see Hosea looking at Dutch thinking, I fucking told you, moments before his death. Hosea knew all along, but no one fully listened. Dutch's last words about Hosea were very positive and caring, but Hosea blamed Dutch for his death at the end. At least that's how I see it. Like I said, Hosea knew, and no one listened, which cost Hosea his life. Hosea was such a big part of the gang, keeping everyone light and positive. His wisdom helped every single member of the gang in so many ways, and now that he's gone, things are not going to be the same. It's going to be much, much worse.
I mean, look at us.
Night rolls in, and the gang sneaks out of the building, keeping their head down, and they start running to the docks, but the Pinkertons are disrupting their process by existing. They then make their way onto the train, and hide behind the seats when a guard walks by.
Hey, I already checked the trains. You did? No more than a quarter hour ago. Are you sure? Sure.
They keep moving, and Dutch tells Arthur to stop very loudly.
Shit,
Stop, Arthur.
They didn't hear that? Arthur goes down to the docks to cause a light distraction. He whistles as the guards investigate the noise, which gives the gang more room to escape. A bunch of guards are standing there, which doesn't leave the gang with very many options, but Charles is a fucking legend, so he puts himself at risk so the gang can escape.
I'll deal with them.
What? How?
I can't kill all of them silently, so when they chase me, you go the other way.
What are you talking about?
You heard what I said.
Oh, I like it.
Real brave.
What in the hell? Who is...
Excuse me, buddy. Hey, stop! Stop, stop!
That is one of the most beautiful acts I ever saw.
If Charles died there, I would have turned this game off. The gang makes it onto a boat, which leaves the city as the gang figures out the plan.
This boat ain't going to Tahiti by any chance.
I don't know. John, Lenny, Hosea. That wasn't good.
I know. So what are we gonna do now?
The captain walks by, which Dutch goes and bribes to not say anything.
How do I look?
Like a shifty, no-good killer on the run from the law.
Ain't that the truth? Excuse me, sir.
Morning comes quickly, and Dutch says that it's going to cost a little more than a gold bar to make friends with the captain. He says the ship is going to shitty Pennsylvania to collect coal, and the gang is going to stay in Cuba for a couple days. Clay would not be happy.
I don't like Cubans.
Now, apparently, we're gonna be able to slip ashore in northern Cuba in a couple of days.
That's so.
Apparently.
The rest of the gang comes together, discussing the whole Cuban plan, when Micah points out something interesting.
I ain't no sailor, but, that cloud look like good news to you?
We're then taken to the middle of the night, where things aren't looking so good.
Wake up! Come on, Arthur! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! I don't know, but we are getting off of this boat. You come on!
Arthur starts coughing more. He probably has a cold. It is raining. The gang tries to make it off the boat. Unfortunately, boxes fall, which separates Arthur from the gang. Arthur tries to find another way up, which he does. Arthur finds another way up, but the ship appears to be on fire as Arthur shoves a French guy out of the way. Arthur then jumps off the boat, but drowns and dies. We're then taken to a random island, where Arthur gets rebooted in time to wake up on shore, wondering where the fuck he is. He starts walking on the island for a while, which was really boring holding the joystick up for a long time. He then falls to the ground, taking a moment, but picks himself back up and continues walking. Then walks some more and more, and then falls to the ground again, this time face first, but opens his eyes and gets up once more, continuing walking with a clear vision of the island, ending Chapter 4, and taken to Chapter 5. Oh my fucking god, this mission is incredible. Playing this mission for the first time was so shocking in every part. I went from feeling cool as shit, to frightened, to sad, to angry, to leaning back in my chair going, what the fuck? To, oh shit, to motivation, to, what the fuck? To a boat, to suspenseful, to Charles are gonna die, to relief, to Tahiti, to, okay, they're good, to, okay, they're not good, to, where the fuck am I, to, what is going to happen next? I was seriously not expecting so many things to happen in one mission. It was truly an experience. This mission, and in my opinion, has the most impact on the story above any mission. I already talked enough about Hosea's death, rest in peace. To Lenny's death, rest in peace. To John's arrest, rest in discomfort because prison sucks. But look, it's time to rank this mission once and for all. This is obviously a W tier, no question about it. But is it better than Blood Feuds? Now, this is one of the hardest decisions I've ever made. Blood Feuds is no doubt one of the best missions in the game, and it feels like a bunch of emotions piled up at once while dragging Kathy through Braithwaite Manor. But this mission, on the other hand, is just holy shit. Hosea? John? Lenny! An island? I never expected an island to be a part of the Red Dead story, so that was definitely a shock. This mission script is so far 3 pages long, so this mission is probably like 20 minutes now. This mission has so many key moments in it, which Blood Feuds can't compete with that part. Although, Blood Feuds is a masterpiece. I feel like it's slightly more enjoyable, since the highlight of the mission was burning a family of slave owners. This mission will shape the rest of the story going forward, but... well, that's chapter 4. What the fuck happened, man? What a chapter. While I don't think it's as good as chapter 3, it's still awesome, with so many events leading up to the best chapter in the game, chapter 6. But before chapter 6, I have to rank chapter 5, which will come out later this month or in January. Chapter 3 took me 3 months to get motivated to finish it, and chapter 1 and 2, those videos sucked. I didn't write a script, I had no plans, I didn't do anything. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed what you saw. I have to go swimming right now. Have a great day, and stay positive. Laters.